If I told you someone once parked a 53-foot semi-trailer across my driveway, completely trapping me in my own home just to make a point, you'd probably laugh and say, that can't be real life. But I promise you, that's how this story starts. And for the record, it wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was realizing, as I stood there staring at that hulking white box on wheels, that I was officially the main character in some HOA fever dream. Let me back up a little. I need you to picture this. Me, my wife, and our quirky little house sitting way back off the street, one of those flag lots, you know? Long, skinny driveway, snaking in from the road, just wide enough for two cars to squeeze past if you're both brave and neither of you's had too much coffee that morning. 3 years ago, we bought this place for the privacy. My wife loved the garden. I loved the way you couldn't see the road from the front porch. Seemed like a fair trade for a bit of extra driveway, shoveling in winter. Only, there was one catch: the homeowners association. The driveway crosses over a slice of common area, so technically, we're tied into their rules. At first, that meant nothing more than paying dues and maybe smiling awkwardly at the board members if we crossed paths at the mailbox. I work from home, which sounded great at first. Freelance consultant, pajamas by noon, coffee refills on demand, but, it means you start noticing the little things. Who walks their dog when, who picks up their mail in pajamas, besides me, and how the HOA board acts when no one's looking. About 6 months back, the board gets this bright idea: a community pool. Sure, why not? Nothing brings people together like a pool. And if you ask me, nothing divides them faster than figuring out how to pay for one. Instead of raising dues, they send out these special assessment bills. Just a quick $3,200 per house, no big deal, right? Except, here's the thing. When we bought the house, my lawyer made triple sure our deed had a little magic phrase carved into it. Because our lot is landlocked, had no direct access to the pool, no way to get to the playground without trespassing through other people's backyards, we were exempt from paying for recreational stuff we couldn't use. I didn't think much of it. Just sent the HOA a copy of the paperwork, wrote a nice note, "Hey, thanks, but this one's not for us," and went back to work. Except the HOA president, let's call them the president for fun, didn't see it that way. First, it was polite reminders, then not so polite warnings, then outright threats. If you've ever been scolded by someone with a clipboard in a power complex, you know the tone. You're not a team player. You're setting a bad example. You're going to regret this. It got to the point where every email from the HOA felt like a little black cloud rolling into my inbox. One morning, just after 7, I hear this massive hiss outside, like a bus braking, but angrier. My coffee nearly jumps out of the mug. I walk down my driveway, still in slippers, and there it is, a semi-trailer, no cab, just dumped right across the entrance like a brick wall. 13 feet tall, 53 feet long, taking up every inch between the mailboxes on either side. It looks so absurd, I just stand there a minute. Not a soul in sight. And then, like clockwork, the president shows up, clipboard in hand, grinning like the cat that ate the canary. "Morning," they say, in that sing-song way people do when they know something you don't. "Looks like you've got a bit of a situation." I try to play it cool, but come on, what do you say to that? "Do you know anything about this truck?" I ask, half expecting them to burst out laughing. They glance at the clipboard, flipping pages like they're reading the Bible. "Well, according to my records, there's some emergency asphalt inspection scheduled today. Looks like the truck broke down. Could be here a while. Safety, you understand." I look around, no workers, no cones, no flashing vests. Just me, the president, and this monstrous box on wheels. I ask to see the work order. "No need," they say, suddenly all business. "We manage maintenance as we see fit." There's this weird little glint in their I-part smug. "Part, let's see you wriggle out of this." That's when it hits me. This isn't about asphalt. This is about money. About making me sweat. "Truck stays till your account is settled," they say, leaning against the trailer. "If you can't leave, maybe you'll start paying attention." And I'll admit, for about 5 seconds, I'm actually impressed by the sheer audacity of it all. Who does that? Who blocks someone's only way in or out just to win an argument? But here's the thing. I've been around the block. I've seen enough boardrooms and enough bad clients to know when someone's bluffing. I nod, as calm as I can manage, and start heading back to the house. "Good," they call after me. Glad we could clear that up. I don't even look back. My wife's in the kitchen, catching the tail end of the drama. Why tell her? She's halfway between call the cops and are you sure this isn't a dream? And honestly, I was thinking the same thing. But here's where the story gets a little, well, twisty. Calling the police crossed my mind, sure. But the president wasn't stupid technically. The trailer was on common area. Cops might just shrug, call it a civil matter, and move on. But a fire truck? An ambulance? They couldn't get through, not with that thing in the way. In most places, that's a huge fire code violation. So I call the fire marshal. A woman answers, takes notes, asks all the right questions. How big is the obstruction? How long's it been there? Is access completely blocked? Within the hour, she's there in persona nonsense, hard hat, tablet in hand. She walks the driveway with me, takes one look at the trailer, and her eyebrows go up. This isn't just a code violation. This is a life safety issue. I tell her what the president said: emergency, asphalt work, the truck broke down, blah, blah, blah. She takes photos, shakes her head, and says, "Any inspection equipment here? Any crew?" "Nope, just a very expensive paperweight." And then, almost as an afterthought, I mentioned the sign I'd seen on the trailer, tiny, magnetic, something about local transport. I did a quick search before she arrived. Turns out the company is registered to someone with the same last name as you guessed it, president. Her eyes narrow. So this isn't just the HOA being overzealous. This is personal. She gives me a copy of her violation notice. The owner, meaning the president or their relative, has 4 hours to remove the trailer, or she'll have it towed at their expense. And let me tell you, she adds, heavy-duty recovery on a trailer that size? It'll make your HOA dues look like pocket change. I'm not going to lie, I kind of enjoyed sending that notice over to the president. I attached the marshal's letter, a time-stamped photo, and a polite little message. 4-hour compliance window. Please arrange immediate removal. I didn't even have to wait long. An hour later, my phone rings. This time, the president's not nearly as cheerful. They try to play it cool. "I got your message. This is harassment. We're not moving the truck just because you called some bureaucrat." I keep it simple. Up to you. After 3 p.m., recovery crew shows up, and the bill goes to whoever owns the trailer. Fire marshal's rules. Silence. Then, a wary, "How much is this going to cost?" I give them the fire marshal's estimate, several thousand, minimum. The line goes quiet again. The president tries to bargain. "Maybe if we could talk about your assessment." Nope. Not budging. I tell them my account is current, and the only dispute is about a fee I don't legally owe. That's a matter of interpretation. They snap. "No, that's contract law." I say. They get huffy. "Fine. But don't think this is over." I wish them luck, remind them of the ticking clock, and hang up. For the next hour or so, I do some digging. Turns out, moving a detached semi-trailer isn't exactly cheap or easy. Most companies charge by the hour big dollars for big equipment, plus mileage, plus storage. This could easily hit $4,000. And if it's done under emergency order, whoever parked it is liable for everything. I take a walk down the driveway at 2:45 trailers still there, not a soul in sight. I snap some more photos, call the fire marshal at 3 on the dot. "They didn't move it," I say. "She's all business. We'll dispatch the recovery service." Onopi. By 4, there's a rumble out front, the kind of tow truck you only see when something really, really big needs to be moved. The recovery crew is professional, efficient, and frankly a little amused. What did they think would happen? One guy mutters as he snaps photos. They hook up, fill out forms, and by 6, my driveway is clear. The bill? For $1,200, plus daily storage until someone claims the trailer. I get a copy for my records. But I'm not done. Not by a long shot. The president's little stunt was illegal, and I wasn't about to let it slide. I call a lawyer who specializes in HOA disputes. I lay out the whole saga: the assessment, the threats, the semi-trailer, the fire marshal, the towing bill. The lawyer's eyebrows just keep going higher. "You've got a classic case of tortious interference and harassment," they tell me. "We'll start with a formal demand letter. Reimbursement, acknowledgement that the assessment doesn't apply, and no more funny business." Letter goes out, certified mail, all proper. The response? 3 days later, a real attorney calls, trying to sound reasonable. "Let's not escalate. What do you want?" I spell it out. Full reimbursement, written acknowledgement that I'm exempt, and no further harassment. "That's a big ask," they say. "It's a big bill," I say right back. While the lawyers bicker, The rest of the neighborhood catches wind of what happened. And wouldn't you know it, turns out the president approved the whole special assessment without a proper vote. There's an audit. They find the president's been siphoning off HOA money for months, hiding it with fake invoices. The pool project was just a last-ditch effort to plug the hole. Within a month, the entire board's replaced in a snap election. The new team kills the special assessment and brings in real oversight. Me? I get my towing costs covered, my legal fees reimbursed, and my exemption written into the records. The president resigns, then moves away, rumor has it. Had to sell the house to cover the restitution for all that missing money. The day after the dust settled, I dropped a thank you note in their mailbox. Inside, a photo of my now empty driveway and a copy of the $4,200 towing receipt. Thanks for reminding us all about the importance of following the rules, I wrote. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten. Maybe it was petty, maybe not. Honestly, after what they pulled, it felt like justice. Here's what sticks with me. Standing up to bullies, especially the clipboard-waving kindoism mean you have to become one yourself. Sometimes you just have to keep calm, keep records, and let them dig their own grave. The president thought they could teach me a lesson about power and compliance. Instead, they taught the neighborhood a lesson about consequences. Now, every time I drive up my long, private driveway, I think about that day, about how helpless I felt staring at that trailer, and about how quickly things can change when you stand your ground. My street's quieter now. The HOA board's run by folks who actually care, and people talk to each other instead of hiding behind rules and fines. And there's a little monument by the entrance, just a plaque listing the community rules and a phone number for concerns. No trucks allowed. So here's my question for you. When is it okay to push back against authority, and when does just following orders cross the line into abuse? Have you ever had to stand up to someone misusing their power, maybe at work, maybe in your own neighborhood? If you have, I want to hear your story. Where do you draw the line between fighting for your rights and letting it slide for the sake of peace? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about it.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.